We're happy to have with us tonight Jose Baez. Mr. Baez, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Baez, it's my understanding that police have discounted the tipster because the tipster, a woman, could not give a flight number or a date for the flight to Atlanta. Is that true?
No, that's not true at all. In fact, we know the dates, we know the airline, we know the destination, so I believe that's all being worked out. This is the first I'm hearing that they've discounted it. In fact, we find it to be a very credible lead because the entire family spoke with Kaylee.
Could you give us then that information, the date, the airline? We know the destination was Atlanta.
Well, unfortunately, I wrote it down and I don't have it with me right now. But I do know that that is a very credible lead. And some of the things what we find very credible about it is, A, it's an entire family. It's not just one person. B, the information that was gathered. Apparently, the way Kaylee said her name is what really is encouraging the family, because only the family would know exactly how she would say her name. And
without the H, Anthony.
Exactly, Anthony, exactly. And not only that, she also includes her middle name when she says her name. When someone asks her, what's her name, she says Kaylee Marie Anthony.
Marie. Well, anyone that has watched this news story knows her name is Kaylee Marie Anthony.
Yes, but someone might, you'd have to make the conclusion that she wouldn't just say Kaylee Anthony. And also the Anthony is also very encouraging. We're also, this all happened in an airport, so we're going to be able to verify certain things, but everything that we've been, all the information we've been given and everything indicates that this seems to be a credible lead.
Well, sheriff's investigators have told our producers that the tip does not lead them to be optimistic because, again, they state that there is not a flight number, that there is not a date, and I find that very, that's a complete dichotomy with what you're telling me.
It certainly sounds that way.
But you cannot remember even the flight carrier? You don't know if it was Delta or AirTran coming out of Orlando?
I believe it was AirTran, but
well,
unfortunately...
that narrows it down to just a few flights a day then.
Correct. No, like I said, I wrote it down. I have it in my file. I didn't know I was going to be asked about that, just, the exact information. But I know for a fact that we have that information and we're following through with it and following up.
Question. When the tipster asked the little girl her name, did the tipster know that Kaylee Anthony was missing?
No, she did not.
And so she only put two and two together after seeing news reports?
Correct.
Question. Why did she not go to police? Why did she contact Casey Anthony directly?
I believe she tried contacting police through the tip line, and unfortunately we've had a couple of reports that they're not getting, they weren't able to get through. And this isn't the first person we've heard this from. So they took it a step further and contacted the Anthonys directly.
Interesting, because we've called the tip line and we got straight through. I want to ask you a couple of questions regarding your client, and I completely understand the attorney-client privilege. It's my understanding that your client will not meet with police until she is granted immunity. Is that true? That's
totally not true. That's 100% false. And I heard that in the beginning of your broadcast, and I was hoping to have an opportunity to clear that up. We have never, ever, ever told the police, look, she'll talk, but only if she's released or granted immunity. And nothing like that ever transpired.
Well, Mr. Baez, then why hasn't she spoken and sat down with police since she was first interrogated?
Well, the police have not contacted me with any specific information that they want to ask her. I've instructed the police, and I even sent after there was a whole debate of going back and forth as to what I said and what they said, I decided to put it down on paper. I sent them a letter explaining to them, look, I'm willing to have her accessible to you. We're willing to assist in the search, so long as it's concentrating on the search and not on her prosecution.
Well, it's interesting because Orange County Sheriff Deputy Carlos Padilla says that you, Jose Baez, have not returned detectives' calls to set up a meeting.
That's untrue. And Mr. Padilla and I have had a couple of disagreements over this last week, and this is just another one of those.
Well, if you're agreeing to meet with them, with your client, then why hasn't it happened?
Well, you'd have to ask the detectives that. I mean, they're the detectives. They're supposed to be investigating this case. I don't know what they're doing, but it appears from every report that I get that they're just simply concentrating on prosecuting Casey, for example.
Well, don't you believe, if that were true, Mr. Baez, that they would leap at the chance to be alone with you and your client in a squad car driving around town in a search for Kelly?
Well, they haven't requested that, so maybe you're a little bit ahead of them.
So Padilla is completely lying when he says you have not returned his phone calls.
100%. 100%.
A couple of questions about your client's earlier statements to police. For instance, claiming that she dropped her daughter, little Kelly, off at a babysitter's house on June the 9th, and when she came back, they were gone.
Correct.
Well, that's not true.
Well, you know, I wasn't privy to the conversations that she's had with police. My conversations with her is that she dropped the baby off with the babysitter and she has not seen her since. And
so she told you that as well, because her mother told us on air that that was her story, when in fact police did track down the so-called babysitter, Zenaida Gonzalez, who says she's never even met Kaylee or Casey Anthony and has never babysat for them ever in life.
And you can also refer to the same police report where it says they showed her a photograph of the person they spoke with, and my client said that that is not the Zenaida Gonzalez.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Your client said what?
If you refer, I guess you're referring to the police report, but in that same police report it states that they showed a photograph to my client, and she stated that that was not Zenaida Gonzalez, the same Zenaida Gonzalez.
She also told the police that the apartment where she dropped the child off with, she showed them the apartment. That apartment has been vacant since February 29, Mr. Baez.
I've certainly heard, I've seen that in the report, and that's what the police are saying she said. Unfortunately, she is locked up right now. I haven't had the opportunity to go with her to specific locations to show me where she told the police that she dropped the child off and to verify a lot of these things. Unfortunately,
you
because she's
have had
locked
the
up,
opportunity to meet with her. You were in court with her.
Absolutely.
And you also had time to prepare with her, and the jail allows attorney-client visits. You have had the opportunity to meet with her.
No, I didn't say I haven't had the opportunity to meet with her. I said I haven't had the opportunity to go to these places with her to verify that what the police are saying she told them is the truth. Now,
so you're functioning under the theory that the police may be...
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I was talking over you.
So you're functioning under the belief that the police have fabricated this?
No. I'm under the belief, and it's my experience that, number one, you don't always believe everything you read in a police report. You verify it, and you do your job, and you do your investigation. So that's part of my investigation that I have not had the opportunity to do yet because my client is locked up, and the only one who can take me to where she took the police would be my client. And I'm hoping to have the opportunity to do that relatively shortly.
Well, another thing that is concerning, Mr. Baez, everyone with us tonight is the attorney for Kelly's mom, Casey Anthony, a veteran trial lawyer, Jose Baez, joining us out of the Orlando, Florida jurisdiction. It's my understanding that she also told police she worked at Universal Studios and actually took them there, all the way there in the car, got out of the car, walked up to where she said she worked, and then finally turns around and says, you know what, I don't work here. As it turned out, she was fired from there. So why would she lie about something as innocent as where she worked?
You know, again, that goes along the same lines. I don't know if she actually told that to the police. I don't know if that actually occurred the way they say it occurred, and I'd like to certainly look into that a little bit further. If there are audio recordings of their conversations, I'd like to be able to play them for my client and ask her about those things. But that is part of the process of defending a case, and that's part of the things that I, unfortunately, because we're not at the discovery phase, haven't had the opportunity to do.
You don't have to be in the discovery phase preparing for trial to find out the truth from your client.
Well, you have to be in the discovery phase to get everything you need from the police, like audio recordings, so that way you can go over them with your client and verify the accuracy or any interpretations, or to see if any of this stuff was taken out of context.
Mr.
It's
Baez,
part of the job.
Where was your client for the 4 weeks that Kelly has been missing?
That's part of that is some of the things that I simply can't discuss because it's protected by attorney-client privilege.
But why? Why is that a secret if she wants to find her little girl alive?
Well, I'm certain if you're an attorney as well, and you wouldn't violate the attorney-client privilege.
I would want to find the little girl alive, Mr. Baez.
I'm a little confused as to why you would ask that question.
Because I want to find Kaylee alive, and obviously you and your client do not.
She does not know where Kaylee is.
Straight back out to Jose Baez, the attorney for the girl's mom, Casey Anthony. Your client, according to you, says she dropped her child off on June 9. But that's not true. The grandmother saw them together on June 15.
Yes, absolutely. Apparently they were mistaken on those dates. Everyone seemed to be mistaken on those dates, and we certainly were able to confirm it. The time has been shorter than that.
Well, don't you think your client should know the last time she was with her own daughter?
Well, everyone who, since it was so long ago, it was just simply a confusion of dates.
It was last month. With us tonight is the attorney for Kaylee's mother, Casey Anthony. Jose Baez is joining us out of Orlando, Florida. So, Mr. Baez, you are telling me point blank your client, nor you, have asked for immunity for her?
Absolutely not.
Under any circumstance?
Under any circumstances. And
you claim the fact that you have not met with her and investigators is simply a failure in communication?
No, I don't think that they're... For some reason, there's a lot going back and forth, but I've reached out to them, I've expressed it, I put it in writing, and they haven't yet to respond.
Our control room has them on the phone right now.
Perfect.
And they're happy to arrange a meeting between you, your client, and police. When would you like to do it?
Well, where are they? Put them on the phone. Let's talk.
Give me a date and a time.
Well, I'll meet them at the jail right now.
Well,
if they have any credible leads, hold on a second.
Commercial break.
Again, I didn't hear you because I was talking. If they have any credible leads that they want me to bounce off of my client, they could meet me at the jail in about half an hour, and I'd be more than happy to go inside, talk to my client, and find out exactly what the answer is to any of those leads that will help find Kaylee.
So will you sit down with you, your client, and police and go through the evidence?
If there's any leads that they want me to go over. Now, I'm not going to be there to prosecute my client or to assist them in prosecuting my client.
How about assisting in finding Kaylee?
I will be there to ensure that my client's rights are protected, but I'm there to help find Kaylee. That's the only reason I'd be willing to meet with law enforcement. Not for anything other than trying to find Kaylee.
It's 832.40. And that's the first time tonight, sir, that you have stated you're here to help find Kaylee.
Well, no. Apparently on your show, because I've been saying it all along. You might be a little behind on the times on that one.
Good to know. I still don't understand, Jose Baez, why your client will not reveal where she was with Kaylee over those 4 weeks. In fact, she told people Kaylee was with a nanny at the beach or an amusement park. Did she actually have a nanny? And if so, how did she pay her?
Well, I don't know I don't know how she paid the nanny or any details of that nature, but I can tell you this. She has a lot of things that most people aren't talking about is the police did talk to her for an entire night, and then they had the entire following day, and then they arrested her. And they basically bit their nose to spite their face there. If they want, and now they're complaining that they don't have access to her. They went and arrested her first, then reported her to the media as missing. And I think there's something seriously wrong with that nobody's even talking about.
Could you just tell me, was there ever a nanny? She also told her mother that as well. Did she ever have a nanny?
Yes.
Who's the nanny?
Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
That was also the nanny, and they were at the beach.
She was the person that that used to babysit the child, yes.
So that's the nanny that was at the beach and the amusement park she told us about.
I don't know anything about any beach or amusement park.
That's what she told her own mother.
I'm sorry?
That's what she told her own mother.
Again, you'd have to ask her mother that. I don't know anything about that.
So all this time she was with Zenaida Gonzalez, and you don't know where Zenaida is anymore?
We're looking for her. We're certainly looking for her.
And looking for her.
If she's the person that kidnapped Kaylee, I don't think she wants to be found at this point.
You stated that giving away her location for the past 4 weeks until she was arrested would breach attorney-client privilege. that the child has been abducted, most likely by the babysitter. If that is true, why didn't your client report her missing immediately?
Well, her reasons and her explanations for those are confidential, and it's something I can't reveal at this time.
You know what? That doesn't even make any sense.
Well, you know, I'm sorry it doesn't make any sense to you because you don't know what our defense might be. And
your defense to what?
Any charges that may arise where she is prosecuted. I have to protect my client. It's something that I must do, and it's something I've taken an oath to do.
You're hiding behind the attorney-client privilege.
I'm not hiding behind anything. And as a lawyer, I'm a little bit shocked that you would say something, because you fully know that the attorney-client privilege carries much more good than it does any harm. And I don't see why you would even ask such a question.
Because you keep stating, as if it were the truth, that this child has been kidnapped. But yet when you're asked any tough questions, even the most simple questions, you refuse to answer them. Then you choose to hide behind the attorney-client privilege.
I'm not going to violate my oath. I'm sorry.
I understand.
You may have done that when you practice, but it's not something I'm going to do.
I didn't violate the oath, but I didn't represent liars, to my knowledge anyway, either.
Well, you know, I represent anyone that needs a defense attorney, and unfortunately, you know, I don't know if you had clients in criminal cases,
Sir,
and if you didn't,
my
then,
clients were victims and were the state, the people of the state. Has the grandmother been asked to take a poly?
No, because she's not a suspect in this case. She is the one who
you don't have to
actually
be a suspect to take a poly.
I'm sorry?
You don't have to have to be a suspect to take a polygraph.
Well, first of all, that's inadmissible, and I don't believe the police have asked her to.
I didn't ask you if it was admissible to court. I just asked you if she's taken a polygraph.
She has not taken a polygraph, and no one's asked her to.
Out to Leanne. Hi, Leanne.
Hi, Nancy.
What's your question, dear?
Well, I have to say, frankly, I'm a little bit appalled at Mr. Baez's whole joking around with, and avoiding the subject that's really important, and that's the disappearance of the little girl. And I just want to know, why isn't there more information coming from the mother, or why isn't there more being done to question the mother?
Mr. Baez?
Well, there's no joking around here. We have a missing child, and I would say this. I would ask you, forget my picture. Please put Kaylee's picture up right now. That's the reason why I'm here. I want to get Kaylee's, the search for Kaylee out there, and that's really all we're doing here. The media has been very gracious at times, and we've been trying to get her face out there. That's what all of this is about. There's no joke going on around here.
Well,
and I would apologize if anything I've done. I'm sorry, I would apologize if there's anything I have done that would lead someone to conclude that, because that's not the case here.
Sir, if you really want to find Kaylee, wouldn't the obvious suggestion be to cooperate with police?
Absolutely, and that's what we're doing. My client does not know where Kaylee is. If she did, she would have told the police. She would have told me. She is most interested in getting her daughter found, and that's something that we're trying and we're focusing on right now.